Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. So in today's video, I'm doing a part 2 of how to slay on a budget. I've been thinking about these tips and I think they're really gonna help you. Also, I noticed that you guys really enjoyed the first video that I did on how to slay on a budget. So I thought I would get into a little bit more detail on this topic and also give you more tips that'll hopefully help you in 2020. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. So first thing, let me give you outfit details. This is a bodysuit that I got from Zara. It has like a low back. Really love it. The hair is from the Hair Trader. Bought this last year a while ago. And then I have my favorite watch, which is from DKNY. And my bracelet is from Del Kersey. It has this DC right here. It's a jewelry company from Devon, and my pinky ring is from Lovisa. Also, don't forget to check me out on my socials. I'm at Peleology. I will put I'll show you my Instagram right here, and I'll also link it down below. I'm also now on Twitter. I don't like Twitter because it's so negative, but I am on Twitter now. So make sure that you check me out right there. Also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and thumbs up this video, because that lets me know on which videos you like. And also, I'm going to be doing my very first giveaway at 500 subscribers. I'm very excited for that. I think we can get to 500 within a month. So yeah, I'll be doing a giveaway very soon, so make sure that you look out for that. So yeah, let's just get into this. I have everything written down on my diary as usual. So the first tip that I have on how to slay on a budget is with regards to your bank. You should be very cautious of which bank you bank with and which type of account you have. So for instance, there are some accounts that have no monthly fees and that actually give you free transactions, like Capitec. I think Capitec is one of the cheapest banks to bank with. So if you know that you're balling on a budget, don't go to an FNB Gold account or whatever that has monthly fees and a lot of terms and conditions. Just don't go there, because I've had an FNB account and there was monthly fees, and although they say that they give you free transactions, you pay for them. So if you don't have money in your account, you will actually have a negative bank balance due to the bank charges. But with Capitec, that doesn't happen. And also, if you're a student, just get a student account that has very low, if any, banking fees, and they give you free transactions. Also, you get discounts on certain things. Like I know that if you with Standard Bank, I think you get a certain discount of your gym membership and various other. So just be cautious and research the bank that you bank with and which type of account that you need according to your lifestyle. In the same breath, if you know that you are someone who travels a lot, it may be beneficial to you to get an account with FNB or other banks that offer free lounges. So I know that if you have an FNB Black card, or I think it's an FNB Black card or an FNB Gold card, you get free access to some lounges at the airport. So if you know that you're someone who travels quite a bit, you can reap the benefits there. So at the airport lounge, you don't pay for the food, you get free Wi-Fi. It's just a good way to reap the benefits instead of you getting to the airport and having to pay for your meals, whatever the case may be. So just know which bank to bank with and what type of benefits they offer according to your life. So tip number 2 is know what to splurge on, and know what to budget on. So for me, if you're on a budget, it's no use trying to act rich when you don't have money, because at the end of the day, you are the one that's gonna suffer. So again, according to your lifestyle and your lifestyle concerns and whatever the case may be, if you're on a budget, you cannot splurge on everything. So for instance, you're a student, your main concerns is actually that you're a student, which is your studies. So things that you know that you have to spend your money on, whether you like it or not, is textbooks, Wi-Fi if you live off campus, just things that surround your school life. So it's no use you buying expensive waves, etc., and expensive clothes when you know that you have to make sure that all your student affairs are in order, when you know that you have to spend money on rent, when you know that you have to spend money on food, because I feel like when you're a student you're constantly hungry. Just know what to splurge on and know what to save on. So for instance, I will say splurge on key items in your life. So again, I'm using the scenario that you're a student, or maybe you've just started working. Things that you might need to splurge on, maybe your laptop, according to what you need your laptop for. So maybe if you do something with designing, interior design, or graphic design, you might want to invest in a MacBook Pro. If you're a student and you just need things to research and type on, you might want to get a cheaper one, like maybe a Lenovo or whatever the case may be. So those are the things that you know will be an investment to your future. It's no use splurging on things that are not an investment into your future. And then know what to budget on. So things that don't have a sense of urgency. So for instance, if you want to buy hair to treat yourself, hair can be expensive, let's be real. Budget on that, or maybe lay by it if you need to lay by it, but don't squeeze yourself trying to prove that you're rich when you're not rich, when you know your bank balance. Just be very cautious on trying to prove something to people who don't even care about you, because at the end of the day, I think the important things in life is not about what hair you have, what bag you're carrying, blah blah blah. Yes, those things are nice to have, but the important things in life is the friendships that you have, the relationships that you have, what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. So always just keep that in mind when it comes to money matters. Okay, and tip number 3 is limit your outings. If you don't have money, you have no business going out for lunch every other day, going out for dinners, going out to the club when you don't have money. I know that this is something as females that we thoroughly enjoy. We love going out, we love going out to lunch, looking cute and all of that. But again, if you're gonna do this on a budget, know when and where to go. Like, limit your outings. Just don't be going out every week when you don't have that budget for it, because some area of your life will suffer. So things like limiting your outing, again, I'm saying know when and where to go. So there are certain restaurants that offer, maybe let's say midweek specials on drinks and food, or places that serve brunch and bubbly or whatever the case may be. Now if you go out to an establishment that has those types of special, you go in there knowing already how much you're going to spend. Like, I know that at Views they have a brunch special with unlimited bubbly and stuff for 200 rand per person from 12 till 2, I think. So if you're gonna go out, know when to go out so that you maximize the amount of money, so that you maximize your fun while also not emptying out your pockets, you know. So don't just go out randomly and then you end up looking like, I don't know. So just limit your outings. That's just the main point. Limit your outings. And then tip number 4 goes with limiting your outings, which is plan your meals and your grocery shopping. Now, if you don't have money, then you have time, you know, and people who usually have money don't have time. So you, as a person who has limited finances, you need to plan your grocery shoppings. You need to plan where you're buying what, how, or whatever the case may be. And also you need to buy full groceries so that you're not out of food and then you're like, oh, I want to go, I guess I don't have food, because then you end up paying more. Okay, so what I mean with plan your meals and your grocery shoppings, so different shops have different specials. So for me, I know that we eat a lot of veggies, and those are things that I know that I constantly need, fruits and veggies. So when the newspaper comes, because usually I get like a weekly newspaper, all the shops, Pick n Pay, Woolworths, whatever the case may be, they usually have their specials. So I know that when I'm shopping for veggies, maybe I'll go to Woolworths because they have a special on a bundle of veggies, which I actually bought yesterday. So if you know that you don't have money, why are you shopping for everything at Woolworths? Because that is quite expensive, let's be honest. Why are you doing your full groceries at Woolworths when you could be picking up certain things from certain shops? So I know that if I want some type of wine, if I want some type of veggies, I'll go to Woolworths because they usually have the ones that I like at a price that is good for me. And then I know that if I want to buy meat or whatever the case may be, I'll go to a shop that specializes in meat that has a variety at a good price. So when I say plan your meals, also carry lunch to work or to school, because buying lunch every day is not sustainable. That is, even if you have money, it's just not sustainable. Don't play yourself. Don't play yourself, you know. Packing your lunch, packing breakfast, packing snacks will save you so much money and so much time. Because if you have to buy lunch every day, let's say you spend 50 rand a day or 100 rand a day for breakfast and lunch at work, that will add up to quite a lot of money if you calculate it over a monthly basis. So do yourself a favor, meal prep your breakfast, your lunch, and that'll save you just so much time. Also, you are able to carry healthier options rather than buying fried fast food, you know, because if you do that on a long term, trust me, your health will complain. You will gain weight, you will get the pimples because you'll be constantly eating fried meals, and it's just, again, it's not sustainable. So with regards to planning your meals, let's say you would make daily smoothies that you'll have for breakfast, and then for lunch you can have leftovers from last night. I work from home. I'm not someone who likes to make lunch, so when I cook dinner, I make sure that I cook enough so that the next day I can have it for lunch, because I don't like making lunch. It's just not my thing. So even more so if you're working and you're pressed with time, preparing your meals will just save you a whole lot. And tip number 5 is thrifting versus online shopping. So again, okay, let me not say again, but when it comes to thrifting, I've spoken about this before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Thrifting saves you money, and it's also eco-friendly, unique items. So that's something I highly recommend if you're someone who likes fashion, or you're just on a budget. Go thrifting, or just go thrifting. And also there are some online shops that sell thrifted items, so you will find the best items at a really amazing cost. Also, online shopping much cheaper than going to the shops, because online stores usually have weekly sales, And again, I've spoken about this before, so if you haven't watched my how to on a budget, I'll link it down below so that you check it out. And tip number 6 is public transport versus Uber versus Bolt. So know when to use Uber and know when to use public transport if you don't have your own car. So if you're on a budget, you're absolutely not doing yourself any favors by taking Ubers everywhere you go, like no favors whatsoever. So if you're a student or you're someone who's working, whatever the case may be, there is public transport that can be reliable and affordable and efficient. So things like the Gautrain or the Gaubus is really safe, and there's a schedule, so you know what time it gets there. Therefore, you're able to prepare yourself instead of preparing yourself and using an Uber each and every single place you go to. That will cost you so much, like woo, and also for me, I usually use Bolt because I have an FNB card. It usually gives me discounts 70% of the time rather than using cash. So I've linked my card to Bolt. I no longer use Uber because Bolt always has Bolt because of the discounts that it gives me because of the bank that I use. Also, if you are going to use Uber or Bolt, there's I think it's called a family sharing thing or whatever, but where you share your trip, whether it's with your friend or a stranger. That way you guys can split the bill if you're going to the same place. Now, tip number 7 is with regards to renting versus staying at home. So the options that you have and which one you should choose. So my thing is, if you don't have to move out of home, do not move out of home, because renting can be very, very expensive and it's a monthly thing, it doesn't go away. So it's not worth renting unless if you're actually buying a property, you know. So if you're a student or if you're someone who recently started working and you haven't actually found your feet, then don't move out of home if your home is convenient to where you work or where you're going to university or whatever the case may be. Just don't do that, because renting is so much money, and staying at home can allow you to save for when you do decide to buy your own apartment, or save for a holiday rather instead of renting. And also with regards when you're actually renting an apartment, I've noticed that renting newly developed apartments is definitely higher than renting older apartments, mainly because of the amenities that the new apartments are around and the things that they have on the property. So new apartments have a swimming pool, a gym, restaurants, whatever the case may be. And although that's convenient, you tend to pay so much for a space that is much smaller. However, if you're renting older apartments that are still nice, matter add, I'm not saying like run down or whatever ugly, but maybe an apartment that was built in the 90s or whatever the case may be, those apartments tend to be much bigger, and they tend to be much cheaper to rent than the new apartments, if that makes sense. Especially around my area, this is something that I've noticed around Johannesburg and Pretoria, because I have been looking for a better space. So just be very aware of where you choose to rent and where you choose to buy, if you choose to buy. Tip number 8 is to limit your unnecessary expenses that you do not need to have as someone who's on a budget. Things like the gym, contract phone, Uber Eats, monthly subscriptions. Like, you don't need those things. You do not need those things. If you need to work out, you can work out outside. Also, there are outside gyms like in parks where you can actually work out, so you don't need to be paying 300 or 400 for gym that you don't even use that much, and that's just money that you could have saved for something else. So just cut it out. Also, You can do fun exercises with your friends, and there's also so many apps right now that are out there that are free that you can use to work out with. They tell you what to do and how much you should do. Like, everything is basically laid out for you. So you don't need to be spending more money that you don't have on gym. As well, on things like a contract cell phone. Oh my goodness, contracts can be quite expensive. Don't even want to get into that. Because I know, but you don't need a contract cell phone. You just don't need contracts if you're on a budget. As well as constantly ordering out on Uber Eats. Oh my goodness, Uber Eats is not your friend. It's not your friend. I told you, you need to meal prep, because this just gets me riled up. But you don't need to be spending on Uber Eats when you don't have money, when you could have meal prepped a healthy meal at home for the fraction of the price. As well as subscriptions, like subscriptions to various apps or whatever. Just don't do that. Find other options. You need to save your coin, baby girl, so be smart about it. And my 9th tip is to cut out unnecessary items that you don't need. Now this speaks to me because I love buying things that I don't need. Okay, so things like flowers. I'm so guilty. I always want to have fresh flowers. However, buying fresh flowers every week or every other week, again, it adds up. So limit buying unnecessary things that you don't need. I'm speaking to you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But I feel like, even though I have like artificial flowers in the house and they're beautiful, blah 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 blah, I will never stop buying fresh flowers for myself. And then my 10th tip is learn how to maintain yourself. I know, as a girl, that personal grooming can be very, very expensive. And I know that everyone knows, whether you're on a budget or you're not on a budget, personal grooming can be very expensive. So things like doing your nails every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks, depending on how frequently you do your nails, which is your manicure, your pedicure, lashes, braiding your hair if you braid your hair, washing your hair if you wash your hair, treating your hair, whatever the case may be, personal grooming can be very expensive. Even more so if you're doing waxing and threading and facials and blah blah blah. It can be super expensive. You can just spend like 3,000 rand a day, like I mean in one day, with personal grooming without even doing major things. So learning how to maintain yourself can reduce those costs. So for instance, learning how to braid your own hair if you can, washing your own hair when you can, treating it at home, and then if you need to braid your hair, then you can go to a professional instead of going for hair treatments every time you need to do one, or washing your hair at a professional every time you need to wash your hair. And things like doing your own nails can actually honestly help. I had to quickly transfer the videos to my PC because my memory card got full, but I was on my 11th tip and I was letting you know that you need to focus on one thing. So if maybe your one thing is, as I was saying, completing your school tuition, or saving up for a new place, or to buy a car, whatever the case may be, just focus on that one thing. Do not try to do everything at once, because that will not work out. If you want to furnish your home, whatever the case may be, focus on that one thing. Focus, eyes on the prize, as they say. So yeah, I hope these tips really help you to stay on a budget in 2020. Let me know what your favorite tip was. Also, leave me a comment down below on how you slay on a budget and what has actually helped you to manage your finances better. Thank you so much guys for watching. Make sure that you're subscribed, it's absolutely free, and click the bell notification icon so that you can get notified when I post a video. Also, have you checked out my latest video? I did a video on how to lay my edges, so make sure that you also check that out, and my vlogs as well, and that you guys really enjoy the vlogs. So yeah, leave me a comment down below and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.